Imagine waking each morning to a reality that already reflects your deepest desires. Before your feet touch the floor, before thought drifts to tasks and errands, you greet the day with the unwavering conviction that what you have longed for is no longer a future hope, but a present truth. This mental posture requires more than fleeting optimism. It demands a disciplined commitment to inhabit a state of fulfillment as fully as if it were already your daily experience. By making the end your starting point, you reverse the usual order of events and allow circumstances to conform to your inner certainty, rather than chasing conditions outside. When you awaken with the end already claimed, the entire pattern of your day shifts. Thoughts no longer orbit around lack or longing, but center on completion. You think, speak, and even move from the assumption that your desire is already realized. To awaken in this way, select truths that support your vision instead of undermining it. If you wish to write a book, for example, begin each morning by touching a pen, closing your eyes and feeling the exhilaration of the final page turn. Sense the applause, the pride, the weight of the published volume in your hands. With these impressions firmly held, every action becomes a step toward that predetermined outcome. This practice draws upon the deep intelligence of your subconscious. Unlike the conscious mind, which can waver in doubt, the subconscious accepts the images and emotions you feed it as fact. By presenting a clear, emotionally charged vision of the fulfilled wish, you effectively bypass inner resistance. Your subconscious then orchestrates ideas, opportunities, and synchronicities to support the reality you have assumed. You might receive an unexpected phone call, discover a helpful resource, or meet someone who opens doors you had not imagined. Each of these events is simply the outward expression of the completed scene you impressed within. To fully claim the end, it helps to enrich your subjective experience with sensory detail. Engage all 5 senses. Visualize the scene in vivid color. Hear the sounds that accompany success. Feel the textures under your fingertips. Taste the celebratory sweetness and smell the freshness of triumph. The brain responds most readily to multisensory input, and the more detailed your inner movie, the more persuasive it becomes. Train yourself to replay this scene several times during the day, in moments of waiting, before sleep, or whenever your attention drifts. Each repetition strengthens the impression and fortifies your belief in its reality. Resistance can surface as doubt, comparison, or unmet expectations, yet these are merely invitations to return to the chosen state. When hesitation creeps in, pause and ask yourself, what would I feel if my wish were done? Then recreate that feeling immediately. If you postpone satisfaction until tangible proof appears, you inadvertently prolong the gap between desire and fulfillment. The true art lies in resting in the end, regardless of external evidence. Over time, this unwavering stance becomes second nature, and the world around you realigns with the image you persistently cherish. Consider a person seeking a promotion. Instead of rehearsing worries about competition or lack of qualifications, this individual spends a few minutes each day visualizing the congratulatory handshake, the celebratory speech, and the new office space. They imagine themselves answering questions with confidence, reviewing contracts with authority, and celebrating the milestone with colleagues. Though no official announcement has occurred, the subconscious mind begins to align behavior, appearance, and decisions with the lived reality of that promotion. Skills sharpen, networks expand, and the necessary conversations manifest almost effortlessly. Integrating this approach into daily life also involves adjusting practical routines. You might place a subtle reminder, like a small object or a written phrase in plain view. Each glance serves as a mental cue to return to the end state. Affirmations, while useful, are most powerful when anchored in feeling. Prefer, I am enjoying every moment of my fulfilled desire over vague statement. Actions taken from this standpoint carry a different energy. Tasks become expressions of already having arrived, rather than steps toward a distant goal. This shifts motivation from fleeting inspiration to sustained joy. Ultimately, making the end your beginning rewires your mental landscape. You no longer operate from lack, but from an abundant center that magnetizes resources, ideas, and relationships aligned with your vision. Each day becomes a rehearsal for reality, and as you persist in imagination's theater, the curtain of appearance gradually parts to reveal the manifestation you have embodied within. Embrace this practice with patience, persistence, and a sense of playful curiosity, and watch as the invisible world of thought gives birth to the tangible world of accomplishment. Remember, claiming the end does not bypass effort. Rather, it refines your approach. When you know the outcome is assured, you engage tasks with clarity, creativity, and calm. You view challenges not as obstacles, but as chances to reinforce your imagined state. If a setback appears, you apply revision, adjusting your inner narrative to reflect satisfaction of the anticipated result. In doing so, every experience becomes a stepping stone that affirms the conclusion you already hold within. Wholeheartedly approach moments with unwavering confidence in your vision. Begin by picturing the environment of your fulfilled desire, though you are physically present. Feel the ground beneath your feet, the texture of polished marble, or the softness of lush grass. Sense the temperature of the air as it brushes your skin, the warmth of sunlight bathing you in comfort, or a gentle breeze whispering through leaves. Notice the scents that define this place, the subtle fragrance of flowering gardens, the crisp aroma of fresh paper on a newly signed contract, the rich notes of morning coffee savored in triumph. When each sensory thread is woven with clarity, the subconscious no longer distinguishes it from reality. Invite sound into your imagination next. Perhaps you hear applause ringing out, the heartfelt congratulations of friends, or the steady rhythm of your own heartbeat resonating with joy. Musical accompaniment can deepen the effect. A triumphant orchestral swell, or a soft, triumphant melody that mirrors the feeling of accomplishment. Let laughter ripple through the scene, echoing against walls of success. Or imagine the gentle hum of productivity in a room where you create with ease and confidence. By anchoring your vision in auditory detail, you give life to silent pictures, transforming them into symphonies of intention. Textures and tastes bring added dimension. Envision the satin slide of an award ribbon through your fingers, or the smooth heft of a crystal glass raised in celebration. Picture the fine linen of a tailored suit, the grain of a well-worn journal, or the supple feel of a steering wheel in a vehicle you've manifested. Taste the sweetness of champagne on your tongue, or the bold richness of victory cake shared with loved ones. Each nuance of sensation lubricates the mechanism of imagination, enabling the mind to maneuver with visceral conviction. Movement animates your inner movie. See yourself walking confidently through doors that once seemed closed, each step echoing with purpose. Observe the sway of your clothing, the cadence of your stride, and the expansion of posture as you move through this realized reality. Perhaps you raise your arm to sign a document, pen gliding smoothly across paper, ink flowing like promise fulfilled. Or you embrace a friend, feeling the warmth of connection and the resonance of mutual joy. Motion prevents stagnation in visualization, adding momentum that compels your subconscious to mirror the action. Color saturates emotion, vivid reds for passion, deep blues for calm authority, golden hues for abundance. Each shade carries the frequency that influences mood. Consciously choose the palette of your imagined scene to amplify the exact feeling you wish to anchor. If you see a vibrant sunset painting the sky above a life you adore, let the gradations of pink, purple, and amber stir awe in your chest. If you visualized your workspace, surround yourself with luminous accents that symbolize creativity and growth. The more you integrate color psychology into your inner tapestry, the more magnetic your image becomes. Renew these sensory immersions throughout the day. In moments of pause, waiting for an elevator, sipping morning tea, or drifting before sleep, return to your multisensory vignette. Each brief rehearsal refreshes the impression as rain strengthens soil, preparing it for the seed of belief. Consistency shapes conviction. The subconscious crafts pathways most traveled by attention, and when you habitually flow through these richly detailed scenes, you pave a highway for your desires to travel from thought to form. Obstacles in waking life may tempt you to abandon these inner rehearsals, but let challenges serve as prompts to deepen your practice. If frustration arises, pause and recalibrate your mental movie, infusing it with even more vivid sensations. When doubt whispers that imagination is fantasy, remind yourself that every innovation, every invention first existed as a detailed vision in someone's mind. The airplane, the microchip, the symphony, all predated their physical counterparts in the sensory realm of creative thought. Your practice follows the same universal pattern. Cultivate a playful curiosity toward these inner scenes. Experiment with perspective. View the scenario from above like a bird. Then switch to first-person intimacy. Rotate angles to explore hidden details and embellish textures that might initially seem minor. A glint of metal on a key, the pattern of light through stained glass, the whisper of wind-carried petals. Each new discovery rekindles engagement and invites your subconscious to contribute its own intuitive refinements, often revealing insights you might not consciously conceive. In tying all sensory elements together, your imagination transcends emptiness and becomes a laboratory of creation. The subconscious mind, instinctively drawn to wholeness, organizes circumstances to match the intricate blueprint you've provided. Opportunities align, solutions emerge, and steps toward your fulfilled wish appear clear and compelling. This is the power of saturating imagination with sensory detail. You awaken the latent architect within, and the unseen scaffolding of possibility rises into visible form. As you master this technique, recognize it as both an art and a science, a skill to be honed through disciplined practice, and a natural function of your inherent creative capacity. With each detailed visualization, you not only entertain a dream, but embed its substance into the soil of your consciousness. Continue to refine, enrich, and enliven your mental scenes, for in their fullness lies the key to manifesting every desire you hold dear. Imagine the stirring of deep satisfaction welling up within you as if your goal has already been realized. This feeling is the engine that propels imagination into manifestation. When you learn to evoke the emotion of achievement in the present moment, you do more than fantasize. You ignite the creative power within that maps thought to form. Gratitude and excitement are the twin pillars of this practice. Gratitude for what is already yours, and excitement for the unfolding of its expression. Together they transform a passing idea into a dynamic force that shapes your reality. Begin by recalling a moment in your life when you felt truly victorious. Perhaps the completion of a challenging project, the receipt of heartfelt praise, or the quiet triumph of personal growth. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let that feeling wash over you. The rush of pride, the warmth of recognition, the subtle shiver of joy. Notice how your heart quickens, how your muscles soften, and how your mind lights up with possibility. These bodily and mental cues are the language of feeling, and by acquainting yourself with them, you learn to speak directly to the subconscious, where ideas take root and grow. Once you have tasted that sensation, transplant it into the context of your current desire. If you long to step into a role of leadership, imagine the swell of confidence as you stand before a group, the hushed attention of listeners hanging on every word, the smooth cadence of your voice as it conveys authority and compassion. Feel the pride of service as you guide others toward a shared vision. Let the gratitude for this capacity fill your chest, as though you have already been entrusted with such responsibility. In doing so, you bypass the one-day mentality and claim the influence you seek right now. Emotion without specificity can fade, so sharpen your focus by linking feeling to clear mental images as you cultivate excitement for a new career. See yourself at your desk, perhaps a stylish office or a cozy home workspace, opening an email that celebrates your accomplishments. Envision the click of the mouse, the vibrant colors of your company logo, the text of congratulations appearing on your screen. At the same time, generate a surge of gratitude for the skills and circumstances that made it possible. These paired sensations, vivid image plus heartfelt feeling, act like an impression pressed into soft clay, molding your subconscious into believing that the outcome is not just possible, but inevitable. Skepticism may rise, whispering that you are faking it or indulging in wishful thinking. Recognize that this resistance is merely the echo of old beliefs, urging you back into familiar territory of doubt and fear. When it surfaces, greet it with curiosity rather than judgment. Then consciously return to the emotional tone of fulfillment you wish to embody. Notice how quickly the mood shifts when you align with excitement and gratitude instead of hesitation. Over time, this mental discipline rewires neural pathways so that feeling like success becomes your default state, even before any external confirmation arrives. Language plays a crucial role in anchoring emotion. Replace statements like, "I hope to achieve," with, "I celebrate the achievement." Phrase your inner dialogue in the present tense. Speak to yourself as though the victory has already transpired. You might say, "I am deeply grateful for the recognition I receive," or "I feel the pride of accomplishment in every fiber of my being." These affirmations, when suffused with genuine emotion, are catalysts that trigger your subconscious to arrange ideas, people, and events in harmony with your declared state. Notice the subtle but profound difference between chanting empty words and living the sentiment behind them. Ritual can enhance this process. Choose a simple act, a morning cup of tea, a brief meditative pause, or the moment you stand before a mirror, and use it as a gateway to feeling. Close your eyes for a breath, recall the emotion of your fulfilled desire, and let your body resonate with it. Smile inwardly as you breathe, allowing gratitude to pulse through your veins. Carry this energized state into your day, noticing how ordinary tasks take on a new vibrancy when undertaken from a place of inner celebration. Even routine actions become expressions of the success you already claim. As you deepen your capacity for feeling, you may discover that excitement alone is not always enough. Gratitude provides the anchor that steadies intense emotion. Gratitude transforms desire into contentment, releasing fear that arises from unmet expectations. When you are genuinely thankful for what you imagine, you declare to the subconscious that your wish has already merited reward. This sense of deservedness dissolves resistance and opens the pathway for your inner world to manifest outwardly. Develop a habit of thanking the invisible forces at play, expressing appreciation for the unseen orchestration of events that are constantly converging on your behalf. Integration of feeling into daily life involves both spontaneity and structure. Remain open to sudden bursts of joy, perhaps an unexpected compliment or a fleeting vision of success. By acknowledging these moments and amplifying their emotional resonance. At the same time, schedule dedicated intervals for immersive practice, a few minutes at dawn, a brief session before sleep, or pockets of time tucked between meetings. Treat these practices with the same respect you would give a scholarly pursuit, for in understanding the mechanics of feeling, you become an architect of your own existence. Finally, bear in mind that feeling is not a one-off trick, but a lifelong skill. Just as an athlete conditions muscles through repeated training, you cultivate the muscle of emotion through regular engagement. With each intentional surge of gratitude and excitement, you strengthen your connection to the unseen creative power within. Events will begin to flow with a new rhythm. Opportunities that once seemed scarce become plentiful. The fabric of your life shifts, to mirror the inner tapestry you weave. By embracing this educational approach to emotion, you empower yourself to live from the abode of fulfillment rather than the realm of lack. Every inspired thought, every spark of joy, and every wave of thankfulness ceases to be momentary delight and becomes a blueprint for reality. In this way, feeling not only anchors thought, it charts the course of destiny. Imagine the script running in your mind as the author of your own destiny. Every thought you utter internally weaves the narrative that shapes the unseen architecture of your life. Yet too often, outdated programming, voices of doubt, fear, and comparison creep into that script, derailing you from the story you wish to live. To refine your inner narrative is to seize control of the pen, rewriting each line so it reflects the fulfilled state you intend to embody. Begin by tuning in to the running dialogue within. Observe the fleeting comments that surface. "I'm not ready. It's too difficult. I'll try later." These are echoes of past disappointments masquerading as truth. When one arises, pause for a breath and simply note its presence, then deliberately redirect your attention to the narrative you choose, to the dialogue of confidence, creativity, and completed desire. This gentle interruption, repeated consistently, trains your mind to favor the story of fulfillment. Words carry vibrational weight. When you catch yourself saying, "I can't," swap it immediately for "I am able." Replace "I'm stuck" with "I am moving forward," and transform "someday I will" into "now I am." These shifts are not mere semantics. They rewire neural pathways and send fresh instructions to your subconscious. Each chosen phrase becomes an imprint, guiding the unseen forces that choreograph circumstances to mirror your inner script. Empowering questions guide your focus more than doubt-driven ones. When uncertainty knocks, ask yourself, "How can I express my fulfilled state right now?" rather than, "Why isn't this happening?" The first question invites imaginative solutions and summons your creative intelligence, while the second reinforces lack. By consistently framing your inquiries around abundance and realization, you enlist your subconscious as an ally in discovering the steps that align with your desired outcome. Storytelling is a powerful tool for shaping belief. Craft a brief internal monologue each morning. Narrate a scene in which your goal is already achieved, reporting it as good news to an eager friend. Describe the setting, the emotions, and the sense of completion with enthusiasm. This practice impresses vivid details upon your subconscious, creating a blueprint from which lived experiences emerge. As you retell this story, you strengthen its authenticity in your mind and magnetize matching events. Resist the temptation to validate doubt with external evidence. When a negative thought presses for attention, acknowledge it without judgment, then calmly return to your chosen narrative. Engaging with fear only amplifies its power, like feeding a fire with fresh fuel. Instead, treat it as a passing cloud and shift your mental gaze back to the sunlight of assurance. Over time, persistent redirection will diminish the old patterns until they dissolve entirely. Visualization and verbal affirmation work in tandem to reshape your inner story. When a critical thought intrudes, counter it with a clear mental image of your fulfilled desire. Then follow it immediately with a concise, potent declaration. "I am confident," "I am creative," or "I am abundant." This dual approach leverages both the language centers and the sensory motor networks of your brain, creating a seamless override of limiting beliefs. Practice self-compassion throughout this process. At first, unwanted thoughts may emerge frequently, and you might feel discouraged. Recognize this as a normal stage in rewiring your mind. Each time you catch and redirect negativity, you are strengthening new neural connections that support your success. Celebrate these small victories as signs of progress rather than chastising yourself for setbacks. Writing your refined narrative on paper anchors it more deeply. A few carefully chosen sentences, jotted down and read aloud with feeling each morning and evening, become a physical commitment to your ideal script. Even if you don't revisit the words later, the act of writing and speaking them embeds their essence into your consciousness, providing a stable reference for your subconscious to follow. Turn idle moments into opportunities for silent rehearsal. During mundane tasks, waiting in line, washing dishes, or commuting, quietly replay your refined inner story. This transforms downtime into subconscious practice, steadily replacing old mental habits with the new script you intend to live. Gradually, your internal monologue becomes a continuous broadcast of fulfillment. As you persist in refining your inner narrative, you will notice subtle shifts in the world around you. Conversations flow, opportunities appear, and solutions reveal themselves in alignment with your chosen script. These synchronicities serve as confirmations that the unseen forces have received your new instructions and are arranging circumstances to match the story you consistently tell. Mastery of your inner dialogue is the cornerstone of lasting transformation. When your mental script habitually reflects the reality of your desires fulfilled, your external world cannot help but respond. By observing your thoughts, choosing empowering words, reframing doubts, and reinforcing your story through storytelling and writing, you learn to direct the creative energies that shape your destiny. Embrace this educational process as the art of conscious creation in its purest form, for in your refined narrative lies the power to manifest every aspiration you hold dear. Imagine closing the day by gently gathering each moment that felt discordant or incomplete and rewriting it as you wished it had unfolded, infusing those scenes with harmonious feelings of satisfaction. As you lie in stillness, allow the events of the day to play back before you like a gently rolling film. Notice any moment that carried tension, disappointment, or regret. The conversation that fizzled, the task left undone, the worry that instead of leaving these fragments of unease to rest unaddressed in your mind, graciously select one scene at a time and mentally rerun it exactly as you desired, with the happiest ending you can imagine. In this silent rehearsal, you become both playwright and performer, taking full creative responsibility for the script of your inner world. If you struggle to speak up in a meeting, replay the dialogue with confidence. Choose words that convey clarity and sense the nods of approval from colleagues. If you missed a moment of connection with a friend, imagine a warm exchange filled with laughter and genuine understanding. The key is not to dwell on the original frustration, but to captivate your attention with the revised scenario until it feels as vivid and real as a cherished memory. As you rewrite each scene, focus keenly on the feelings you would have experienced had things gone ideally. Allow genuine relief, pride, joy, or peace to wash through you. These emotions are the fertile soil in which your subconscious plants new possibilities. By experiencing the wish fulfilled within the landscape of your mind before sleep, you train the deeper layers of your being to recognize satisfaction as the norm rather than the exception. This nightly practice acts like a reset button, clearing away the mental clutter of unfinished business and replacing it with the energy of completion. Consistency amplifies the power of revision. Make it a gentle ritual, perhaps following your evening hygiene routine, or as the last thoughts before drifting off, that signals to your mind the sacredness of this creative pause. Over time, the ritual itself becomes a cue for deep relaxation, as the body and mind learn to anticipate a space of imaginative renewal. Even if your day felt largely positive, choose at least one minor instance to refine. For small rewrites, condition your subconscious to embrace continual growth and improvement. Nightly revision also refines your relationship with time. Instead of viewing the past as a fixed record of successes and mistakes, you reclaim it as a dynamic canvas open to transformation. By revising yesterday's scenes, you break free from the weight of regret and step forward unencumbered. You discover that your mind need not be a captive of history. Rather, it can be an instrument of fluid creativity, shaping both past impressions and future potentials. When the resistance surfaces, perhaps a reluctance to revisit painful memories or skepticism about the validity of imaginary rewrites, respond with patient curiosity. Acknowledge any inner hesitation and gently remind yourself that this exercise is not an escape from reality, but an invitation to align your inner state with your highest aspirations. Consider the countless innovators and visionaries who first rehearsed ideas within before manifesting them in the world. Your nightly revision is the same unseen preparatory work, laying the groundwork for tangible improvements in waking life. To deepen the practice, you might integrate a brief moment of gratitude at the end of each revision. After replaying and improving your chosen scene, mentally whisper appreciation for the lesson it offered, for the opportunity to rewrite, and for the fresh energy now available to you. Gratitude cements the new impression, anchoring it firmly within your subconscious. As you express thanks, feel the warmth of acceptance settle around you, dissolving any residue of self-judgment or negativity. As weeks pass, you will likely observe subtle shifts in your experience. Conversations flow more smoothly, challenges feel less imposing, and unexpected solutions emerge at just the right moment. These are the ripples of your nightly revisions moving outward into your day-to-day existence. Events begin to mirror the revised narratives you've been imprinting within, confirming the unseen intelligence at work, faithfully translating your internal craftsmanship into external benefit. In mastering nightly revision, you develop a profound partnership with your subconscious, harnessing its creative capacities to sculpt a life of greater harmony and fulfillment. Each evening's practice is a quiet testament to your commitment to self-mastery, an educational exercise in conscious creation. By embracing this simple yet transformative habit, you transcend the ordinary limitations of time and memory, awakening each morning with renewed clarity, purpose, and the palpable sense that you and your world are evolving together in beautiful synchrony. Imagine gazing into a mirror that reflects not the person you see today, but the one you know yourself to be at your highest potential. In that mirror stands an individual exuding effortless confidence, creative genius, or robust vitality, qualities you choose to inhabit as though they already belong to you. By seeing yourself from this elevated perspective, you bypass the limitations of current circumstance and plant a vivid blueprint in your subconscious. The image you maintain becomes the magnetic core around which your thoughts, actions, and emotions revolve. And as you settle into that identity, the outer world reorganizes to honor your unspoken command. This practice requires more than mere daydreaming. It demands disciplined attention to every aspect of your inner dialogue, your habitual posture, and the subtle energies you exchange with the world around you. The self-image you hold is the sum total of assumptions, memories, and beliefs you accept as true about yourself. Like a sculptor's model, it guides every gesture you make and every decision you enact. When that image is rooted in scarcity or fear, you involuntarily create circumstances that reinforce those limitations. Conversely, when you deliberately craft a self-pigeon grounded in success and abundance, you unleash the creative intelligence within to manifest supportive people, places, and opportunities. To begin this transformation, calmly observe your default self-perception. Notice the voice that narrates your worth, ability, and potential. Where does it whisper doubt? Where does it affirm greatness? By mapping these patterns with curiosity rather than criticism, you gain the awareness needed to revise your identity at its source. To rewrite your self-position, start by engaging in mental rehearsal. During moments of quiet reflection, imagine a scenario of triumph in vivid detail, focusing on how this version of you looks, sounds, and moves. Feel the alignment between your imagined posture and the confidence coursing through your veins. You might visualize yourself walking into a room with upright shoulders, steady gait, and a calm gaze that conveys unwavering certainty. Repeat this rehearsal daily, as often as possible, during morning stillness, brief pauses, or before drifting into sleep. Eventually, the subconscious mind replaces the old model with this new template, and habitual behavior begins to fall in line with the ideal you have practiced. In parallel, mirror work can accelerate this shift. Stand before a real mirror, Look directly into your own eyes and speak affirmations in the present tense. I am the embodiment of creativity. I am a beacon of vibrant health. Allow the words to resonate with feeling. Acknowledging any resistance that arises, then gently recommit to your chosen state. This combination of mental performance and physical validation forges powerful neural connections, aligning mind and body with the self-pitch you intend to live. Embodying a new self-pitch extends beyond imagination and mirror work into your everyday habits and environment. Curate your surroundings with subtle cues that reinforce the identity you nurture. If prosperity is central to your vision, keep a symbol of abundance, a vibrant plant, a meaningful token within sight to serve as a reminder of your chosen state. If eloquence and leadership are your goals, set aside a dedicated space where you practice speaking with conviction. Record yourself and review the clarity of your tone. Align your wardrobe, your grooming, and even small gestures, like how you shake hands or hold your head, with the archetype you wish to become. Your posture in a simple phone conversation, the tone you choose in responding to emails, the pace at which you walk, all act as nonverbal declarations of identity. When you treat these details as integral to your self-dependent practice, you create a feedback loop. Internal conviction shapes external behavior, and external behavior reinforces internal belief. Over time, this synergy between mind, body, and environment cements your new identity, making it increasingly natural and effortless. Language serves as both a mirror and a lever in aligning self-possession. Every time you speak, your words echo the image you hold of yourself. Notice your use of qualifiers or hedges. I think, I hope, I try, and substitute them with statements of embodiment. I know, I am, I do. This shift may feel bold at first, but it accelerates the process of identity formation within your subconscious. Journaling can support this linguistic transformation. Each evening, write a brief paragraph in the past tense that describes your actions as though you have already lived them. Today, I inspired my team, or I enjoyed moments of effortless creativity throughout the day. Reading these entries aloud with genuine emotion further deepens the impression, merging language, feeling, and belief into a cohesive whole. Over time, your habitual language patterns forge a context in which your self personifies and drives consistent action aligned with your vision. Triggers and rituals cement the new image by creating automatic reminders throughout your day. Perhaps you choose a specific fragrance, a piece of jewelry, or a brief breathing pattern to signal a return to your empowered state. Each time you encounter that trigger, pause. Take a conscious breath and reconnect with the qualities you embody, the confidence that courses through your veins, the creativity that flows like a river, or the vitality that hums beneath your skin. These micro moments of intentional alignment serve as calibration points, correcting drift and ensuring you maintain the frequency of your desired identity. As these rituals become habitual, you spend less effort to sustain your self-impeachment and more time benefiting from the effortless expression of your chosen state. Resistance often arises when the new self positions conflicts with others' perceptions or long-standing beliefs. When a friend or colleague responds to you based on a past version of yourself, simply observe without doubt. Quietly reaffirm your chosen identity and continue behaving as though the reactions are shadows of outdated memories. Gradually, people will adapt to the frequency you broadcast. Their expectations and interactions will shift to match the person you consistently present. Embrace this as part of the learning curve, knowing that each misalignment offers an opportunity to strengthen your commitment. Over time, your internal conviction becomes unshakable, and your self-permission operates as a living force that shapes reality itself. Imagine for a moment that behind every scene of your life, there exists an intelligent current, an unseen artisan quietly weaving the threads of your desires into form. This subtle power moves with precision and purpose, orchestrating events, people, and moments long before they appear on your horizon. To trust these silent workings is to acknowledge that your imagination and feeling are the blueprint from which reality unfolds, even when visible proof seems absent. In practice, trust begins with a simple shift in attitude. Notice how often you search for evidence: an email confirming good news, a bank notification signaling abundance, or a friend's explicit validation, before allowing yourself to believe. Each time you withhold faith until you see the signs, you place a barrier between your inner conviction and the creative intelligence that operates beneath awareness. Instead, choose to rest in the certainty of your fulfilled desire, as though the unseen machinery has already set every cog and wheel in motion. By doing so, you open the channels through which inspiration, guidance, and synchronistic opportunities freely flow. Consider the analogy of a seed buried beneath winter's frost. You cannot witness the first stirrings of life as the root takes hold, nor can you see the tender shoot pushing upward until it breaks through the soil. Yet you trust that beneath the surface mysterious processes of growth are underway. In the same way, your imagination plants ideas and feelings like seeds deep within the subconscious. Although the outer world may not yet reflect your wish, trust that membranes of possibility are forming, preparing the conditions for visible emergence. Cultivating this trust involves conscious cooperation with your own mental faculties. Begin by practicing stillness. Find a quiet moment each day to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and silently affirm that your intention is already accomplished. Feel the essence of fulfillment stirring within, and hold that sensation without attaching to any forecast or timeline. When questions arise, when will this happen, or how will it manifest? Greet them with gentle acceptance, then return your focus to the feeling of completion. This act of inner return reinforces your partnership with the unseen intelligence, signaling that you trust its timing and pathways. Resistance to trusting the invisible often stems from a habit of overanalyzing. You may catch yourself replaying scenarios in which nothing seems to have shifted, or dissecting every delay as a sign of failure. Recognize that such mental loops serve only to reinforce doubt, slowing the creative process. When these loops appear, consciously interrupt them by recalling a moment when synchronicity proved its presence. Perhaps an answer arrived just as you needed it, or a chance meeting redirected your course. Let these reminders act as evidence that even in the absence of visible proof, the unseen is forever at work. Faith in silent workings also transforms your relationship with action. Rather than frantically scrambling to force outcomes through sheer effort, you learn to align your choices with the state of fulfillment you maintain within. Actions taken from that grounded standpoint carry a different energy, one of inspired momentum rather than anxious striving. For instance, when you send that important message or attend that pivotal meeting, do so from a place of calm assurance. You know the unseen has arranged supporting factors, so your efforts become part of a harmonious flow instead of an uphill battle. Patience is a vital companion to trust. Just as artists understand that paint must dry and layers must set before the final masterpiece emerges, you learn to honor the timing of the creative process. Impatience signals fear, and thus contradicts your inner conviction. When you sense urgency rising, pause and breathe, reminding yourself that the unseen currents cannot be rushed. Cultivate a gentle curiosity for how events will align, rather than clutching at timelines. This relaxed confidence sends a powerful message to your subconscious. You believe in the perfection of the unfolding and need not control every step. Another practice to deepen trust is to engage in mental rehearsal with your eyes open. During routine moments, waiting for water to boil, riding in a car, or standing in line, quietly visualize a brief scene of your desire fulfilled. See it unfolding with ease. Feel the associated emotion and then release it to the unseen forces. This intermittent rehearsal serves as a consistent reminder that the outcome is already woven into your life's tapestry. Over time, such habitual peeks beneath the veil strengthen your faith in what cannot yet be observed. When doubt inevitably whispers, treat it as a minor interruption rather than a sign of collapse. Notice the doubt, thank it for its presence. You might say silently, "Ah, there you are," and then swiftly return to your chosen state. This friendly but firm handling of uncertainty resembles a conductor gently guiding a wandering orchestra back to the symphony's theme. You neither resist doubt harshly nor indulge it. You simply maintain the tempo of your belief. Real-life examples of this trust offer powerful testimony. Think of a business owner who conceived a thriving enterprise while working alone in a modest home office, long before any customer crossed the threshold. Or recall an artist who, years before their breakthrough, saw themselves exhibiting in grand galleries and allowed no inner hesitation to dim that vision. Each success story underscores the principle: what you persistently hold in consciousness, unseen hands bring to being. Eventually, you arrive at a state where the unseen is no longer mysterious, but familiar, a faithful collaborator that responds to your imagination's direction. You notice how ideas, opportunities, and resources seem to appear as if by magic. Yet you know this magic is simply the natural result of the conscious mind's partnership with the subconscious, and you require no visible proof to sustain your faith, because you've experienced the pattern enough to recognize that inner conviction always precedes outward form. By embracing the silent workings behind the scenes, you free yourself from the tyranny of external evidence. You become the conductor of your own creative orchestra, directing the unseen harmonies that give rise to your desired reality. In this place of unwavering trust, your inner world and your outer life resonate as one, and the reality you imagine with faith inevitability takes shape. And so when you consistently inhabit the state of your fulfilled desire, claiming the end, weaving vibrant sensory tapestries, stirring the engine of genuine emotion, refining your inner dialogue, revising past impressions, embodying your exalted self-image, speaking from the reality you create and trusting the silent orchestration beneath the surface, you become the master artisan of your own destiny. Each principle reinforces the others, forming a seamless path from imagination to manifestation. Embrace this dynamic process as a daily ally. In the stillness of dawn and the quiet of night, return again and again to the scene of your perfected life. Let your feelings, your words, and your self-image harmonize with that vision until doubt loses its foothold and your outer world aligns effortlessly with your inner conviction. Remember that the unseen currents of your subconscious move with perfect precision. You need only hold your chosen state with unwavering faith and joyful expectancy. As you do, life's events will choreograph themselves in response, affirming that your best life now is not a distant dream, but the natural reflection of the reality you have already embraced within.